Hey everybody, this is Toby Younis with the Gypsy's Kiss. Stick with me a couple of seconds and we'll do some Forrest Fenn treasure end of year questions because it seems to me it's gotten crazy out there. So first of all, I wanted to wish all of you a healthy and prosperous 2019. We're looking forward to it. We're kind of glad that 2018 is behind us. There's been a lot of activity of all kinds, not just in the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt, but of course in politics and government and all the things that I keep track of. But I wanted to do a couple of things, Don. The first thing I wanted to do was wish you guys a healthy and prosperous 2019. And I also wanted to bring you up to date on what Shelley and I have been doing and what our plans are for the coming year. And I also, in about the last, so I hadn't heard from anybody about the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt for, I don't know, month and a half. Occasionally I get an email asking different things. In about the past week and a half, my 866 number, which is the message, the one that you can text to, has gotten crazy. And I don't mean I got a lot of text messages. I just got some text messages that were as interesting to read as I believe they may be to respond to. So I'm going to take a shot at it anyway tonight, just because they were so damned interesting. So let me tell you where we are. We still have not, I'm going to address one of these questions in here because it was one of the questions I got. We are still where we are in terms of the Fenn treasure. We're not going to invest any more time and money in looking for the Fenn treasure. That doesn't mean I think about it. My mind is in constant motion. And obviously, as many of you probably already know, yourselves, it's hard to stop thinking about and dreaming about, or whatever it is your particular obsession with the treasure is implemented in. So I don't mind talking about it. I have people that I've dealt with for a number of years who call me and ask me questions or just want to talk about it, and I'm happy to answer those questions. So what I did say is that Shelley and I would no longer spend time and or money and or effort looking for the treasure. We're not going to do additional research. We're going to be doing some other things. So the other things turned out to be a number of other things at once. For one, we started a channel called Lady in the Oracle that dealt with tarot card reading. And we got that off and running. We were getting subscribers. We were having fun with it. We were creating some new technology solutions with it that incorporated, the digital tarot cards into it, all of that. And then I don't know how many of you remember. If you don't remember her, her name is, oh my God, Louise Croft. And Louise is known as Digital Nomad Girl on YouTube TV, and she was coming through New Mexico, and one of the things that she wanted to do while she was in New Mexico was contact Forrest Fenn and talk to him about the treasure. And actually, I don't think her original intent was necessarily to contact Fenn. I think she just wanted to come look for the treasure and then incorporate that into her travel vlog, because she's originally from the UK, but she literally travels all over the world. Anyway, she contacted me, and we made a plan to meet she and her husband Tom and their friend Ramara for dinner up in Santa Fe at the Blue Corn restaurant that's out on Cerrillos Road, or Rodeo at the intersection of Rodeo and Cerrillos Road, not the one downtown. So we made plans. We had a wonderful dinner that night. We talked about their search area and what would look good versus what are the chances of them finding it, because they really wanted to look for it, but the area that they were going to was not going to be that photogenic. So I recommended something else to them, and they eventually took that recommendation. because it was very photogenic, and they had a good time. Of course, they didn't find the treasure, but in the as part of our conversation, I suggested that she send one of her YouTube videos, a link to one of her YouTube videos, to Forrest and tell him that she was in the area, and I'm sure he would be pleased to meet with her. And if you've ever seen any of her videos, you can understand why I suggested it. So she did. She met with Forrest. They talked. She got a tour of his place. I don't know if she ever mentioned that she got a drink of the brandy or whatever, but they did meet with him. They spent some time with him in the morning. They met with him like on a Sunday morning, if I remember correctly, and then in the afternoon they went out searching again. And then she had to head out of New Mexico and go on to whatever her next visit was, and I think it was Puerto Rico. Anyway, digital nomad girl. You can see the one. You can see the one video that she edited together from her visit here in the area. Anyway, at dinner, she mentioned to us that we talked about her vlogging and how she paid for her travels. And I noticed that she had 20,000 subscribers. And I know from an estimate what 20,000 subscribers will generate in terms of income. And I realized that wasn't enough necessarily to provide her the kind of income that she left you with the impression with as a result of her travels. It would provide you with a good income, but it was not the kind of income that's going to keep you living in hotels and flying in airplanes for very long, maybe a couple of times a year. So at that point, I asked her, what are her other sources of income? Because I also noticed she didn't have any sponsors, etc. Well, she started talking about Udemy, and I don't know how many of you guys know about Udemy. Udemy is an online application, and it's not an application, where people with certain types of expertise make courses, and then Udemy is responsible for marketing those courses out and taking a percentage of your profits and then giving you the rest. And she told us a number that she was making from her Udemy courses. And I'm not going to share that with you because I don't think she expected me to make that number public. But it was astoundingly interesting to me. So after that evening, she also was very kind enough to give us a coupon to one of her courses on which she explains how to develop Udemy courses. Now, Udemy actually has a bunch of videos out there that explains exactly how to make those Udemy courses. But Shelley got very excited about it. We started talking about it on the way home that evening. And within a couple of days, Shelley had an outline for a course based on a lot of the technology that we've used to do Gypsy's Kiss and Lady in the Oracle and now Video Tarot, etc., etc. So we decided to go ahead with it. But we had to make some decisions. And the decisions were about where we invested our time, because we knew that if our objective was to put the Udemy course up by the beginning of the new year, it meant that we were going to have to really focus hard on a lot of other things. So we decided to put Lady in the Oracle aside temporarily. Shelley will bring it back to life here as soon as we get some courses, and start developing this first course. And I can show you kind of the outline and how much effort it took. So this is that's page 2. This is page 2 and page 3. I don't know where my page 1 is, of the outline of that course that we're developing for Udemy. And it required a bunch of effort on both our parts. It required, I don't know, I lost count of the number of videos, but they're all very short videos, 2 to 5 minutes in length. And so we've been, and as you know, Shelley and I get together on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's the only time we have to work together. And so we've been focused on that in order to meet our objective of being able to launch the Udemy course by the end of the year. And the date that we agreed upon is that on January 1st, it would be finished, uploaded, and waiting for certification by Udemy. So since this is our first course, I haven't had a chance to contact Louise and ask her. We don't know how long it takes for Udemy to approve the course. They already approved our test video saying, okay, we like the way you're doing this, etc., etc. The content is good. But we're at the stage now where if this is a successful course, we've already got about 5 or 6 others that we want to complete, including some that include Shelley's interest and some that include my interest. And my interest, as you well know, is always on the technology, videography, documenting, shooting and editing side of the house. Shelley has other interests and she wants to make courses about them. So what we've agreed to do is upload this other course, and on Thursday, which is the second day we'll meet, we're actually working tomorrow on January 1st. But then on Thursday we'll get back together, and we're going to start on the second course, and that second course has to do with Shelley's interests, and which is health and healthy eating, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to do that, and we're going to upload that. Now, at the same time, we've spent time talking with Louise, and we know now that she has 24 courses up there. A little more than half of those courses aren't hers. They aren't her expertise. Her expertise, obviously, is in travel vlogging and what they call digital nomading, which is traveling around the world and documenting your travels on YouTube and figuring out how to monetize that. But she also has this process that she goes through where people contact her and say, I see that you're coming to, let's say, Puerto Rico, for example, and I'm an expert in Puerto Rican pottery making. Can you help me make a course on Udemy that enables her to do that? And she's gotten to the point where in a week, maybe 2 at the most, she can collect and edit all the material that she needs from this individual to make a new course. She puts that on her channel. She markets on her channel. And then they split the revenues, which is why from 24 courses, she's producing the kind of revenue that she is. And it really is an amazing amount of revenue. I mean, if we all had the option of doing nothing but traveling and making videos about our travel, and then making videos about the people that you meet on your travels, and making more than a reasonable living that pays for your travels doing that, I think we would all go like, hey, that's a really cool idea. So anyway, so that was the first thing. I wanted to bring you up to date. We don't have a specific date when Lady in the Oracle is coming back online. Shelley did a show tonight that was her New Year's, her 2019 reading. So she was talking about 2019. Plus, Shelley has set up her own studio at her own house with her own lights, her own audio. There were some glitches that we have to figure out. But if you go over to Lady in the Oracle, you'll see that video with Shelley. And like I said, we got some glitches that we need to work out. There was one audio glitch, but her lighting is perfect. She's got her own space now. You won't hear the cat talking to Toby in the background, so it's a lot of fun for us. So that's where we are. I've been trying to find the time. I've been wanting to restart my Friday night Fandango things, but we literally have just been too busy to even consider it. I've been focused on getting these videos out because I kept promising Shelley that I would do that. And although the first part of this course that we're developing was very required both of us to be together, the second part was a lot of screen casting of technology, and I had to do those on my own, and that I didn't want that to be the stumbling block to us starting our first course. So that means for the first part of the year, we will be focused on our Udemy classes because they will produce income. And I'll try, I can't make a promise, I will do my best to restart the Friday Night Fandango just so we have something to talk about. And I still get emails and messages. You'll see some of these messages that I've gotten over the past couple of weeks on our 800 number, or 866. So, by the way, after I finish talking here, if you want to call in, after I say hi to everybody and do all that stuff, if you want to call in, you can call in on the 866 number, and you can see it in the screen. There it is, 866-597-9901. So you can call in and we can shoot the stuff. And so for at least the first 2, maybe 3 months of the year, we're going to be focused on continuing to develop our Udemy courses. Like I said, Shelley has some more that she wants to develop. I have some more that I want to develop, but we work on them together. And then what I'll try to do is get back to a regular Friday night Forrest Fenn Fandango, just so we can address all the issues, because I still have my opinions on it. And I mean, it's, once it's in your head, and after 5 years, 5.5 years, and all those blogs and posts and videos, it's in my head. It's not going to go any place out. The funny thing is, I don't dream about it. I dream about a lot of different things, but I never dream about the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt. I don't know why. Maybe there's some subtle things. For those of you who dream, my dreams always involve travel, a weird house, and losing something. I always seem to be looking for something in my dreams. So I don't know how many of you have the same kind of dreaming. So let me check a couple of things. I have got to make sure that's running. That's good. And let's say hi to some folks, see who's here. And then, well, of course, Davio22 is already in the room. David Santa. That's a new name. Joel Lewicki from Minnesota. Happy New Year to you too, Joel. Thank you. Deep Thinker. Tonight's chat will be interesting, I'm sure. I don't know. What will be interesting is some of these questions that I've got. I think you'll find them. Brad Thresher. That's a new name. Paul Ammons. Nice to see you again, sir. William in the house. Let's see. Gage Cockerham. Hi, everyone. The softer side. Oh, Shelley is in the house. Hi, Shell. Hi. If I would have zoomed you in, but you were already having fun with Lady in the Oracle. So softer side is in the house, and she also has response. She also has, what do you call it? The moderator ticket. I don't know, but so be careful. Drew Reisinger. That's a new name. Hi guys and gals. Hi to you too. Ben Downing, Copper Dan. I hope you're doing well in your copper business, Dan. It's really funny because about every 3 months I get a catalog from this company that sells this large device that is a computer generated device for plasma cutting of metal in certain designs that you feed your computer. And I noticed in their latest catalog they had several copper pieces very similar in design to yours. So I don't know whether they saw them. Joel Lewicki, let's see, said hi. Davio, Brad Thresher, Joe S. I don't recognize. He's new. K-Pro. K-Pro, we've got to get you a new, since you're not the Raven's Nest, there's got to be a Thor. You know what I'm going to find? I'm going to find some Thor lightning music for you, I think. Let's see. Hi. Calvin Jung. Quick question. Did you ever witness a demon manifest in physical objects or anything like that? Just asking. No, Calvin, I have not. Unless you're asking about my dreams. If we're talking about my dreams, I don't know. Maybe I have. But no, I have never witnessed a demon manifesting in physical objects. So if you have, perhaps you can share that object with us so that we can avoid it at all costs. R.F. Hecky, hi there. Happy New Year, Toby and Shelley. Thank you both for all your work this past year. You taught me so much. It was a pleasure for us too, R.F. Thank you. Let's see. Happy New Year to you, K-Pro. Thank you. Ben Downing. Zozo Rocks is in the house. Did we ever figure out if Zozo Rocks is male or female or otherwise another gender that we're not familiar with? Let's see. Aaron Hurley is in the house. So if any of you guys have already tried out Udemy and have developed courses for it, I do have the Darth Vader song. That one's for, I saved the Darth Vader song. So let me finish my first thought. If you guys have Udemy courses that you've already developed, please feel free to promote them in here, so that we can get other folks over to Udemy. And if you have courses, let us know. Maybe we can help you develop your course. Let's see. Back to Mitzi's question. Does Tobes have the Darth Vader song? I do. I reserve that for Michael Hool because he always comes in so serious and he's big and dark. Counting the days till I get back to the snow. We've had 3 warnings of snow the past year. Shelley gets it up in her part of town, and I get nothing. We were warned of we had a winter snow warning. You look outside on my patio, nothing. It's dry as a bone. So Finding the Fenn Treasure. No, the course is based on, I'll never remember. Shelley knows the title to the course. It's based on all the technologies that we've been using and applying in the past 6 to 8 months or so. So, and it's, let me see, live streaming like a boss for the entrepreneur and business person or something like that. Shelley came up with a great line for it. To Aaron Herlihy, we're talking about other than the Fenn Treasure right now, but stick with us. We'll be getting. I got to answer these questions. These questions are amazing, so we'll get to them eventually. Just want to say hi to everyone. Let's see. Mitzi said, "Did I say hi to you, Mitzi? If I didn't, then hi." Holly, hi Holly. Do you dream about Mitzi? I do have an occasional dream about Mitzi in her Moore TV. The problem is whenever I dream about Mitzi Moore, she's always dressed like, what's her name, Moore? I forgot her name. You guys know who I'm talking about. Let's see, Holly. Alan Kay, who already retracted his message, probably because he had a question about new people. Hi, Steve. Steve Hyatt says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Robert Zielinski. That's a new name. Happy New Year. Robert. Retha Price. I thought it was found. No, Retha, there is no credible evidence that the treasure has been recovered, found, retrieved, or recovered. So if you're planning to go out next week, go ahead. It's cold. Don't do anything crazy. So Jim Black from British Columbia. We love our Canadians. Let's see. I'm 98, gunk in my chest, but don't feel ill. Yay. Too much information, Mitzi. Journeyman's in the house. Happy New Year to you, too. Let's see. Did I have too much champagne, or is this really AGK Live Fenn Chat? Yes, it is. And wait till we get to we haven't even gotten to the Fenn Chat yet. We're just getting through the names. Hold on. Let's see. AJ Rainville's in the house. Did I say that? Gary Sandberg from Seattle. Happy New Year, sir. CB Baseball. Yo, my brother. Clayton Watson. Hey there, Toby. Hey, Clayton. How are you doing? Our friends from Texas. Good to see you in the house. Joe Lewicki. Live stream like a boss for home-based entrepreneurs. That's the name of our course. So it's all about live streaming and using all the tools that we use from Zoom and OBS and all of those things. And it's really going to be a good course. Demi Moore. No, not Demi Moore. The other, Mary Tyler Moore. So when I dream about Moore, it tends to be Mary Tyler with a short bob haircut. Don't know. I was a child, so maybe that has something to do with it. Let's see. I'm stalking him in his dreams to find the treasure location. It's located up in the Rio de los Pinos. That's where it is. Softer side, Mary Tyler Moore. I can't type. Champagne spilled on the keyboard. Oh, my God. I'm going to have champagne later tonight. I'm leaving later tonight to go to the Route 66 casino to get there just in time for New Year's, and then I'm going to play poker the rest of the night. And then Shelley's coming over at 11, so I better be fixed by then. Let's see. Cal Lazars. Cal Lazars is in the house. Oh, the softer side. I do have something for the softer side. Yeah, that's Shelley's theme. Chicken Hawk. Oh, very ingenious way to spell chicken hawk. Chicken Hawk. Thank you. Mark Brown. Hey, Mark Brown. Good, not Serp. Good. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Guad, not Serp. Is that something backwards? Preston. Doug Preston. Oh, good one. So Guad Nustep is Doug Preston spelled backwards, but not the words haven't shifted. So did everybody figure that out? Ben Downing, that's right. That's Leia's theme from Star Wars. So I just had a Star Wars thing for the past couple of days. Okay. So If you have any questions regarding anything, including the Fenn treasure, text them now to 866-597-9901. You'll see that number float by every once in a while. In with the fairy wings. It does. No, RF Hecky has. Oh, I didn't do it for her. Here's RF Hecky's. She has. Fairy dusts. Yeah. Yeah, no, her theme, Mitzi, is she'll flutter in with a lightsaber, making lightsaber sounds. That's what that one's for. Toby Wan Kenobi, you know what? I had some friends in the military that used to refer to me as Toby Wan Kenobi. So, okay, so I think that's it. I'm updated, said hello to everybody. Alan K says, Paul Simon, you can call me Al? Was that? So, yeah, K-Pro, this whole traveling thing, which is what we were doing. Oh, by the way, we'll continue to do our Tuesday vlogs, visiting spaces in New Mexico. The weather isn't cooperating because it is cold, so we're going to have to do some indoor things. But starting next Tuesday, you'll get another one, and we'll be on for that. And then mid-January, we're heading out to the East Coast to celebrate my 70th birthday. 70th birthday. Can you believe that? With my daughters. They have a big plan at someplace dinner out. And my daughter, who, although is now head of sales at Toby Pro, did go to Johnson & Wales University. And she's an excellent baker. So she's responsible for making the cake. And we're doing some classy dinner out in one of those restaurants in Northern Virginia. So, and then I'm coming back. We're coming back to New Mexico, and the following week we're going to have another birthday party. By that time, I will have arrived at 70. My birthday is January 17th. I will have arrived at 70, and we're going to have a party for our friends here in Albuquerque to celebrate that. So, and I'll announce another retirement. Every 5 years, I have a birthday party and I celebrate and I announce my retirement, which I don't stick by anyway. Yeah, you would like to give me 70 spankings. I would like that. I would like 70 light spankings. Okay, so questiones, okay? And if you guys don't have questions of these, so these are questions that were asked, I believe, in a way that they knew I would answer them. So I don't know how to describe them. I am going to give you my opinions on the matters for these questions. But I got to tell you, these questions have all arrived in the last week and a half. So I don't know what the heck is going on in the community. I haven't been following it. Haven't been to the forums. I haven't. Let's see. We're going to show that, Davio. I don't know why I blocked you from that. That's okay. So I'm going to read these, and I'm going to give you my opinions on the matter. I got about 6 of them, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one that just says Harry's H, and then there's no answer, or there's no question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here we go. So, and some of these names. So this is from Charlie Horse in Wisconsin. Who do you think is the lead searcher? And lead searcher is in quotes. Who do you think is the lead searcher? So I do, right? Don't we all think that we're the lead searcher? So if I were to ask that question of anybody in this room, I would say, who do you think is the lead searcher? If your answer is anything other than me, not me, Toby, but me, you, then you probably shouldn't be in the chase. Everybody thinks they're the lead searcher. So here's what I think about the lead searcher. I think the lead searcher is a myth created by people who are no closer to the treasure than any one of us. I think there are people that think they are the lead searcher, and so they want the conversation about the lead searcher to be had. But there is no, the lead searcher is the one who finds the treasure and who recovers the treasure and announces it or doesn't or whatever they do. That's who the lead searcher is. And I don't believe there's anyone closer. I don't think that if the implication is that the lead searcher has resolved a number of the clues, and I don't believe that you need 22 months to resolve the clues once you've found the first 3 or 4. I think once you've validated that you've discovered the first 3 or 4 clues, then I think you'll walk through the last 5 or 6, right? I don't think it's the kind of thing where you have to, I got the first 3 or 4 clues and I'm going to go back home, but I'm the lead searcher now because I got 3 or 4 clues. You either got it or you don't, right? That's what it boils down to. You either have the 9 clues or you have nothing. Because if you don't have the 9 clues, you don't have the treasure. And if you don't have the treasure, then you're not the lead searcher. And now, again, these are my opinions on the matter. So I'll just go with it. Hey, they asked. I'm just answering. Okay, so this is from Joey T. T-E-A in San Diego. It's not Joey, the letter T. It's the Joey T-E-A in San Diego. With all the information about the 200-foot searcher going around, how do you think that is going to help anyone find the treasure? Okay, so this is another one of those things. So the last I heard, Fenn, the only thing that we've heard from Forrest Fenn that is in the public domain is that Forrest Fenn said that sometime before 2012, when he first made the announcement, someone had been with, a searcher had been within 200 feet of the treasure, but didn't know it. Now, since then, there has been a lot of other information that has come out, but I don't recall that any of the information that has come out since then was spoken by Forrest Fenn. There is no... on the measure, on the intelligence, the quality of the intelligence scale, A1 intelligence comes from Forrest Fenn, and you have a video of him saying it. After that, it goes progressively further down. By the time you get to the 3rd level rumor that it was said by Forrest, then it has no validity at all. So the only thing that I believe to be true about the 200-foot searcher is that sometime before 2012, there was a searcher who was within 200 feet of the treasure, but they didn't know it. The implication being that they had somehow figured out some of the clues, we don't know what number, had gotten to a place where they stood there and looked around and then told Fenn about it. And Fenn thought to himself, you were within 200 feet of the treasure, but Fenn didn't share that with him. And then there's a lot of other stuff that has come out since. If it isn't from Forrest Fenn, if it isn't in Forrest Fenn's voice, if there isn't a recording, hopefully a video recording or even an audio recording or the written word that can be validated from Forrest Fenn, I think the 200-foot searcher is just that. It was a person who sometime before 2012 was within 200 feet of the treasure and didn't know they were there. If I remember correctly, those are the words that were spoken by Forrest Fenn and can be validated. After that, whatever there is about the 200-foot searcher is crazy. Now, I know other people have claimed that they've been within 12 feet and that searchers have been within a foot. I don't know how you could be within 12 feet and walk away from that location and say to yourself, well, I think I was within 12 feet, but I didn't find the treasure. How does that make any sense whatsoever? I could see how you could be 200 feet away from the treasure and not know you were 200 feet away. I could see that. I could see how people, not necessarily searchers, could be within 500 feet of the treasure. We use that, as a matter of fact, because the Cumbres and Toltec Railroad passes 500 feet away from where we're looking for the treasure, right around, and it aligns with the Rio de los Pinos and several all along that stretch right there, that where the Rio de los Pinos comes into New Mexico. So technically, lots of people have been within 500 feet of the treasure if it's there. I'm not suggesting that it's there. We believe it's there. You can believe whatever you want, but it meets that criteria about people being within 500 feet. So the only thing I would go with is that a searcher was within 200 feet, and I think he used the word he. I can't remember. I'd have to go to the exact quote. You might have to go to Terry Scant and even see if he used a gender, because he could have said a searcher was within 200 feet and didn't know it. And you would then have to come to a conclusion about whether it was a male searcher or a female searcher, et cetera, et cetera. So if there are other things and you have evidence that he said something about the 200-foot searcher, I'm just going with, hey, there was a searcher prior to 2012, was within 200 feet of the treasure and didn't know it. All the other stuff that's after that, I haven't heard from Fenn. So if you have evidence that Fenn said other things about the 200-foot treasure, then share it with us, etc., etc. Okay? So that's what I think. See? I told you these were going to be fun. So this is from Eric M. Oh, this is different. This is from Eric M. He doesn't say where he's from. I am going to create my own website. How or who created your graphic and what tools was used? What tool was used? What tools were used? I'm going to change that so it's the grammar is incorrect. It's what tools were used. So I created the graphic myself. It's actually multiple layers. If you're familiar with Photoshop, I created it in Photoshop, and it's multiple layers. The background layer is the equivalent of it's a designed gold coin. I designed it as a gold coin. Then the top layer, or the middle layer, is before it was colorized, is a traditional Celtic design. That had the 3s and the 9s worked into it, and then I added the letters, and then I colorized it. I gave it our colors. So I created the entire thing in Photoshop, and then to make our video intros, we sent those off to Fiverr, because if you go to Fiverr, Fiverr, I think, or is it Fivver.com, they have people that will make your intro videos for you with background music from anywhere from $5 to, I think I paid $65 for one that I wanted with our Video Tarot logo. So I created it, and I used Photoshop to do it, and basically compiled a bunch of PNG transparent graphics to do it with that. So this is from CB. Really do miss you guys and your show about the Fenn treasure. I recently heard over the holidays that the reason you guys have quit looking for it and have ended your program is because you believe that it has been found or retrieved. Wondering if that was true. Well, so it depends what question you're asking, if what is true. We do not believe that. We have no credible evidence that the treasure has been recovered. If you're wondering whether we believe that it had been found, so this really comes into two questions. We do not believe, neither Shelley nor I believe that the Fenn treasure is a hoax. We do not believe that. We believe he hid a treasure. And we also do not believe, we don't have evidence that indicates to us that the treasure has been found. We made a video that you can find in our list of videos that explains exactly why we decided to move on. And it boils down to there are other things that we wanted to do with our time and money, and we felt like we had invested 5 years, lots of time, lots of money, in looking for the treasure, and we didn't feel like we were any closer to finding the treasure than when we started. So it's as simple as that. We do not believe it's a hoax. We believe he hid the treasure. We believe he hid the treasure in the mountains somewhere north of Santa Fe. We believe the poem that he put into his book is once deciphered, once decoded, will get you to the treasure. But honestly, we had no idea what any of those riddles meant. We had some thoughts on it. We've talked about them before. But as I've said in the past, we always had a sense that he may have over-engineered it. So, Fenn's an interesting guy in that on one side he's a very sophisticated, street savvy individual who knows his marketing really well and how to generate interest, and on the other side there's a bit of naivete because I think he underestimated overestimated people's propensity for imagining things that the way he imagines them, and I think he underestimated the interest once it went public as a result of the Margie Goldstein or Goldsmith, is it Goldstein? Goldsmith, article in Hemispheres magazine. So that's the naive side of him. And then the other side is that complex mind of an engineer, architect, anthropologist, archaeologist, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that could go on, that put all these clues together in a way that are probably easily understood by him, but almost by nobody else. And 8.5 years worth of effort by 350,000 people, although I don't think there are 350,000 out there, is an indication of how difficult it is. And part of, I suppose one has to address the issue of, did he want it to be easy? I don't think he wanted it to be easy. I think the longer that that this is in the minds of individuals, whoever they are, researchers or historians or anthropologists and archaeologists or treasure hunters, the longer that it's in their minds, the longer the memory of Forrest Fenn lives on. So I don't think he meant it to be easy, and I don't think that's the other thing. I don't think there's no part of me that believes he's interested in having it found. Let's get this found so I can get this over with. Sure, again, part of the naivete was not understanding what the potential impact on the members of his family was, especially after he passes. But I don't think there's any part of him that says, I need this found, or I'm going to help you find it, which is another thing. Before we stopped, one of the things I wanted to address, it was one of the last shows I wanted to make before we just made a decision, no, we're not going to do this anymore, was a conversation out there in the community about the number of people that supposedly were getting additional hints and clues from Fenn. So I'm going to give you my opinion. We're going to clear out the 2018 trash barrel here from a Gypsy's Kiss. So I have a couple opinions on that matter. Number one, I don't think Fenn gives clues or hints to anyone. I think people believe that they are getting clues and hints from Fenn. He's just, again, if you look at that real savvy guy on this other side, there is no vested interest in him giving clues or hints to anyone, male or female, whether or not he's motivated by some what in his case is a trivial emotion. He has plenty of attention. He has plenty of love. He doesn't need any more love and attention. So I don't think he gives clues or hints to anyone, except an obvious example of that is David. I forgot the guy that did the article for Wired magazine. David. Maybe you guys can help me. David something, who left Fenn's house believing that Fenn had given him a clue that the treasure was in Yellowstone, and was so convinced thereof that he actually went to Yellowstone to look for the treasure and discovered that it wasn't a clue. So I don't think he's given any clues. That's the first part of my opinion. The second part of my opinion is that if you think that as a result of whatever form of communication you're having with Forrest Fenn, you're getting clues and hints for him, you are probably farther away from the treasure than anyone else who is not getting clues or hints from him. And here's my logic behind that. If he's giving anyone clues or hints different from the clues or hints that are in the book, where he's already identified what the clues are and has never told us what the hints are, just the clues, that's all we have. But if you think somehow or the other that as a result of emails and all these things, I had a guy write me and saying, Forrest stopped writing me on December 1st of 2016, and then on February 6th, he said he had his gut feeling that somebody was going to find the treasure, and that he didn't communicate with me anymore. That falls into that category of I'm the lead searcher. So here's my thing on clues and hints. If you think you're getting clues and hints from Forrest, you are probably further away from the treasure than anyone else. And the reason is, it is not in his best interest in terms of the historical definition, how this thing will be defined in history. for it to be found by someone who is close enough to believe that they're getting clues and hints from Forrest Fenn. Historically speaking, that turns it all into one big scam. So if he's responding to your emails and cheering you on, and you think as a result you're close to I completely disagree. I think if you get nothing from Forrest, if Forrest, and I'm not saying this because I get nothing from Forrest, but if you get I've never have gotten anything from Forrest, and I've searched a lot of different places. Right, we already know that that he doesn't like me anyway, so that's why I don't get anything from Forrest. It has nothing to do with my treasure hunting skills. So where was I? So if you think you're getting hints and clues from Forrest, you're probably not close to finding the treasure. If you're not getting clues and hints from Forrest, and he's not responding to your emails, it could be one of two things. He doesn't like you, or you might be close to the treasure, and he can't give you clues and hints. He can't communicate with you, right? He can't communicate. There can't be a record. And you know as well as I do that emails, no matter how you wish them not to be, or audio tapes or video recordings or whatever, no matter how you wish them not to be, have a permanence to them. So can you imagine if it is discovered 20 years from now, after the treasure has been found by some guy who's in his 60s, then in his 40s now, and then what's dug up is a series of emails exchanging, between him and Forrest. That kills it historically. So then it becomes just a historical scam, as opposed to, we got the 9 clues and it's 40 years from the time he had the treasure and we still haven't found it. Now that's a treasure hunt, right? Okay, we got to see, I told you it was going to be this. So I got a couple of more. So Alan K, hi Alan K, says, what are the tarot cards telling you about returning to the chase in 2019? We all want you back. It is very, very unlikely that we will return to actually searching for the treasure, unless I will admit there's a part of me that wants to return to the Rio de los Pinos to do some trout fishing, because the number of times we went there, we either spent our time searching for the treasure or tried to fish, but it was at the point in the year where the water was so low that literally the fish were dying off. So I do want to go back to the Rio de los Pinos, but it is unlikely that I will go back for the purpose of looking for the treasure. So this is from area code 262. So send me your name and where you're located, 262. It says, hi, Toby. I thought I heard you say in an earlier broadcast that you were quitting the chase. Are you back in the hunt? And I just responded to that. No, we are not looking for the treasure. You can't have worked on this as long as I have, 5 years, produced over 500 blog posts, over 300 videos, and not have opinions on the matter. I have lots of opinions on the matter. I also am of the opinion that I don't know where that damn treasure is. So, when I'll get back into the chase? When after I have mulled it over long enough that I've come to some rational conclusion about what each of the riddles in that poem represents. Until then, there is no use in me spending time or money looking for that treasure. Now, and I'm not doing any additional research. I've done all the research that I can. It boils down to the clues and what the riddles in each of them mean, what the riddles in the poem mean, and I literally have no idea. That poem, I don't know whether you can see it under my granddaughter's pictures right there. Let's see, you want to go that way? That poem is right there. So every time I see my beautiful granddaughter, Everly James, on that wall, I see the poem and I look at them and I kind of read them through, but there is nothing there. There I am not anywhere near confident enough to spend any more time or money on this treasure, and at the same time use that time not developing Udemy things, Udemy courses, etc., etc. So that's that. So 262, tell me who you are and where you're writing from. All right, let me go back to the room and see, did I miss any of the questions in the room? Let me go back. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read them in reverse until I get to something that I recognize. Everly Drawing Nigh, Everly James. Isn't that a beautiful name? Her dad's name. This is my daughter Erica, the one that lives in Boca Raton, where I was in November for her first birthday, and she is just a doll, just beautiful. But her dad's name is English, so she's Everly James English. Isn't that a beautiful name? Let's see. Jay, Minnesota. Hi, Jana. I still want to meet Rick and get his autograph. He has some awesome stories. I don't know who you're talking about. Rick who? Rick. Okay. Okay, so no questions. So the phone line is open if you want to call and say hello. I-40 near Santa. Ben Downing was in New Mexico rescuing people. Let's see. Beginning of where warm waters. Let's see. Claims that she's the lead searcher. Yeah, I'm telling you, you should all consider when somebody says who's the lead searcher, your answer should be me, because there is no evidence that anybody is closer to the treasure than any of you. Ben Downing, Davio is saying he's the lead searcher. Okay. So Doug Preston, this one guy is not a searcher. He went looking for the treasure one time and never again. He's the closest one that I know of. Yeah, one guy, not a searcher. That I don't know if I don't know if that is not a searcher. Why would he be out if he wasn't a searcher? Jana, hi. Oh my gosh, hi Toby. Happy New Year. Hi Jana. We were just on to raise some cane here. Let's see. Okay, no more questions. I don't see any more questions. Yeah, Doug Preston backwards. I do not. I don't disagree with you. I don't because what you said is if he didn't want it found. I do believe that eventually he wants it found because that would be the culmination of this historical record, right? What's happens to a treasure hunt if it goes on for X number of years and nobody finds it? Eventually it loses interest until somebody does find it. And I can name for you everything from the Dead Sea Scrolls to the what do you call them, the Rosetta Stone, to that recent find made of $17 billion Spanish treasure. Pretty much everybody had given up looking for any of those things. In a couple of cases, people didn't even know they existed. Nobody knew that the Dead Sea Scrolls existed until they were discovered by the shepherd. Nobody knew that the Rosetta Stone existed until it was discovered. So I don't mean to imply that I don't think he wants it found. I don't think that he cares when it is found. Maybe that's a better way to put it. I think his perspective is that he put it out there, people are looking for it, and the longer it is sought after, the longer his name survives, whether he is alive or not. So I don't mean to imply that he doesn't want anybody to find it. That's not what I said. That's not what I meant to imply. I think, in my opinion, I think the longer it is there, the longer the name of Forrest Fenn lasts. That's what it boils down to. It's the Achilles theory. For 1,000 years, Achilles wanted to be known for 1,000 years, and indeed, he was. Pam's RV, and is Pam in the house? Did I see? Did somebody see Pam? Okay, so if I didn't see your question, text it to the 866 number, 866, where is that? 866-597-9901, or so Shelley is passing this on from CB Baseball. Asks, how about HOB, lignite or trout? So I will give you my current position on the matter. I have come to the conclusion that the entire poem is about trout fishing. So it all relates to trout fishing, including the home of brown. Davio. Toby called Davio 415-747. Okay, it'll have to be after this, Davio. We'll call and we'll talk because I don't think I can call out on the smart line. Oh, I can call out. Davio, I will share off air. So Davio wants to share something off air. Okay. Jason North Face in the house. Doug Preston backwards. Let's talk about people aggressively interrogating Forrest. How do you feel about that? Forrest is a big boy. He's street smart. I think you can try to. First of all, the definition of an aggressive interrogation to me is far more than people trying to ask questions to get answers to. I saw a couple of examples when he did that one event during Fenbury at the Collected Works bookstore. I saw a couple of people who felt like they were, quote, aggressively interrogating Fenn. And honestly, what Fenn took them on and handled them easily. So I don't think he's done this long enough, both as a business professional, as an Air Force pilot, and a business professional and a gallery owner, and the writer of a book with a poem in it that tells you where treasure is. He's done it enough that anybody who thinks they're aggressively interrogating Fenn is mistaken. They're asking him a bunch of questions for which he already has a set of pat answers that you'll get in return until he tells you how silly you sound, and then he throws you out of the location. And if you want examples of that, go back to those several videos that I shot on that day at Collected Works. And there was a couple of people that just went kind of, aggressively interrogating him. And then when they realized they weren't getting the answers they wanted, decided the best thing to do was invite themselves over his house. And that's the point at which Shiloh steps in. They didn't get there. They didn't even get close. So if you think you're aggressively interrogating Fenn and you're making headway as a result, you're wrong. He's got it all figured out, and he may be, I don't even think of him as a fragile old man. He's close to 90, and he probably shouldn't be hanging out with a bunch of searchers taking on questions. But I don't think it's the kind of thing where his mind is failing enough so that he doesn't know exactly what you're doing, and he knows how to handle that. So you may think you're aggressively interrogating him. He's not. It doesn't interpret it that way. Okay, what are your thoughts? This is from 954. So 954, who are you and where are you from? First name and what state. You don't have to give me your exact location. What are your thoughts on warm waters having nothing to do with heat? On Terry Scant, Forrest says warm means comfortable to him. Comfortable, calm, soothing. I haven't really heard many people talking about this. Seems that overwhelming majority think that warm means heat. I do not think warm means heat. I think warm is a term used by pescatarians to define the types of species of fish and their habitat. And that's easy enough because then if that is true, because there are, quote, warm water species, unquote, there are warm waters in which the, quote, warm waters, unquote, in which those species reside, and you don't have to worry about temperature. The species have to worry about temperatures because once it gets above 55 degrees, then that brown trout gets less and less active. There's less oxygen in it, and once it's above 65 degrees, your brown trout is going to die. But that doesn't make any difference to me. I don't have to define that. It's simply a grand definition of warm versus not warm. Not warm versus cool, not warm versus cold, but warm versus not warm, because that's how the species are defined. So there are warm water species and cold water species. In New Mexico, they talk about warm water species and cold water species because of the fishing regulations associated with your warm and cold waters. But when they describe the waters, they don't talk about warm waters. They talk about, warm waters and cold waters. They talk about warm waters, trout waters, and special trout waters. So I don't think it has anything to do with temperature. Jeremiah Brown. Oops, Jeremiah, I wasn't supposed to say your last name. Jeremiah from Fort Lauderdale. So we go there. I mean, I go out to Boca Raton, so I'm not far from Fort Lauderdale. Although whenever I go, I land at Palm Springs International because it's a little bit easier for me to get to my daughter's place. So this is Joel in northern Minnesota. I won't say her last name, but we know who that is. In what video is Forrest surprised to learn that his grandson Sam had gone searching? This is me, Joel, in northern Minnesota. That was also in the videos that were recorded at Collected Works. I can't give you the specific name. I recorded 3 or 4 videos at the Collected. I was streaming, actually. I was streaming at Collected Works that Saturday of the weekend of Fenbury, and I don't remember that. Maybe some of you guys remember the exact dates, but it was in a conversation there because that particular grandson, Sam, was present that day, and somehow that conversation took place. That's when he discovered it, and he was surprised by it. He was not aware that Sam had been looking for the treasure. And honestly, it didn't sound like Sam was a Joel Lewicki level of committed searcher. It sounded like he and his buddies had gone out. He was young. Sam looks like he's still in high school, honestly. So it could have been just his high school buddies going out someplace and challenging themselves by looking for the treasure. But I don't know. You can see the entire video. You can see in the entire video. So Jeremiah goes to church in Boca Raton. I don't know what I know that Everly goes to a daycare center associated with a church on Palmetto and something. It's an Adventist church, but it's supposedly the best daycare center in Boca Raton. That I met a woman, as a matter of fact, at Everly's birthday party, who had been there so long that she knew grandparents of the children that were now attending school. That's how long she's been there. So it's Palmetto and one of the other cross streets there. I can't remember. We went to visit it for Everly's birthday because they had a birthday party for him. So I guess that's it. Is that everything? No calls today, huh? No calls and no more questions. So I think we can call it a night, you guys. All right. So stop doxing my grandkids. Sorry. Shelley reminds me of that. I love my grandchildren. I don't want to dox them. Good point. We don't want you kidnapping any of our grandchildren. So, oops. Let's see. So here's another one from... Okay, this is also from Jeremiah. I don't know if this is a question or a comment. Watched a video recently, and I'm beginning to think that Forrest purchased the land that the treasure is hidden on. What are your thoughts? I do not. I think that the treasure is in a national forest. That's my opinion, and the reason is that makes it. It's either the national forest and the second choice BLM. After that, it gets progressively more difficult for the finder to own the treasure. So. BLM, but if you look at most BLM land, it's just ugly. I'm sorry, BLM, I don't mean to be offensive. Forest land, and then everything else after that. So I don't think he bought property, et cetera, et cetera. That creates a whole different set of problems that the person who recovers the treasure would have to deal with, including, having a deed placed in the treasure chest someplace. I'm not a believer in any of that. So, I'm sorry, those are my thoughts. Okay. Let's see, another question here. Oh, big long question. All right. So this one is from Ralph in Wisconsin. Oh, that's the second person from Wisconsin. I had one earlier from Wisconsin. Who was that? Charlie Horse is also from Wisconsin. Okay, so this is a two-part message. Toby, you have said that you would remain anonymous if you found the treasure. Can you elaborate on your reasoning? Do you feel there would be security risks for anyone finds it? Ralph in Wisconsin. Yes, while we would make it inform the media that the treasure, our plan, should we have found it, was to inform the media that the treasure had been recovered, but that we would remain anonymous in announcing the treasure, and we would monetize it as quickly as possible. And there's a variety of ways to monetize it, but it would not be the kind of thing where we would go public that we had found the treasure, and that ourselves, we would not go public that we had found the treasure. We would inform the media that the treasure had been found with evidence thereof. And then we had several options for monetizing, none of which required us to reveal our identity, and we would prefer to keep it that way. And yes, we do think there are security risks associated with that, and that's the reason. So, don't be sorry. Thank you, Jeremiah. Appreciate the comment. Okay, so this is Mike from Madison. Any feelings on John Jarvie and the Browns' whole Colorado? None whatsoever. As we've said more often than not, we believe that the treasure is in the mountains somewhere north of Santa Fe. And that to us means New Mexico. So we don't think it's in Colorado, Wyoming, or Montana. And we don't think Brown is a personal pronoun. Is that what it was? Personal noun? I've got that wrong somehow. So there's noun and pronoun, that it is a pronoun, that it doesn't represent an individual. World famous gamer, hey brother, happy New Year's to you too. And Shelly's in the room, so I'm sure she saw that as well. Okay, so we got no more questions. We've gone just about an hour or so. As I said, next Tuesday, Shelley and I will have a new travel show for you, new travel vlog that we'll share with you. If you haven't seen the others, you can either go through the conversational versions here on the Gypsy's Kiss, or you can go to our other channel at Video Tarot LLC. That's Video Tarot, not Tarot, VIDEO TERO LLC, and that's where the shorts are without the chat around them. They're just the videos themselves. So we're not using that as a money-making thing. I think our primary source of income from this point forward is going to be the Udemy channel. That's where we're putting all our time and effort into it. Okay, oops, one more. Okay, this is from Andrew in Nebraska. Any thoughts on warm water salt, not referring to water or trains? I recall a story where Forrest Fenn described a man as a man whose waters run deep. That was Dale Neitzel. He referred to Dale as an individual whose waters run deep. He was describing him to someone else. And I can't get away from the thought, well, deep waters are not necessarily warm waters. As we've said in the past, we think the warm waters is associated with, we think the poem's about fishing. We think it's a fishing poem. So if you make that the kind, we had this, I think we did a show on this where we talked about context. We think the context for the poem is fishing, and that starts helping you to define each of the riddles. If you just accept that it's not, the riddles aren't from different contexts, right? You decide on one context. We decided the context was fishing because he has often said, let me straighten this up a little bit. I'm kind of out of the center of my, that you have to pick a context to start with, and once you pick the context, it starts making sense to you. So let's see. Question again from, is this from Jeremiah? Jeremiah, man, you are hot tonight. Do you know if there are any stops on the Toltec Railroad other than Ossier? There are what I'd refer to as customized stops, because there are hunters, campers, hikers, and fisher people who would like to get off at different points along the Toltec Gorge. And there are actually hiking trails, and you have to do it because once you cross once you're out of the Toltec Gorge, you start getting into private property. So it becomes very difficult for you to hike down from the Toltec at that point. So there are stops that they make. There was a water stop at one point. There's a couple of stops that they make along some of the ranches are there to collect and drop off cattle. I don't know if they still do, but they used to. But you can ask once you get on at either Chama or not Alamosa. Is it Alamosa? Yeah. Chama or Alamosa. You can ask to be dropped off at a certain location if you're fishing or hiking or camping or something like that you're going to be down there. Now, it is once you left off at Toltec Gorge, although there are hiking trails, they are, I'd call them Class C hiking trails. They are difficult, and there's a lot of scree, and they're very slippery, slidey. I wouldn't recommend doing. Of course, you can't do it in the winter because it doesn't run in the winter, but yeah, you can. There are other stops to be made on a custom basis when you're taking the train. So if you wanted to stop, for example, to see there's a monument made to President starts with a G, last name G. And if you wanted a picture of that, you could ask them to stop. It's their choice whether they do or not. But you can ask them to stop to drop you off if you're going hunting or camping. So, okay. All right. So I think that is it. All right. So next Tuesday, Shelley and I will be on with our latest video. We haven't decided which one it's going to be. It depends where the weather gets better. But we'll have a new travel video, kind of exploratory video for you. That's next Tuesday. Friday night, starting this Friday night, I'll be back at Garfield. That's it. Ben, President Garfield. There's a monument up there to him. Starting this Friday night, I'll be back with Forrest Fenn Friday Fandango at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you want to join me then, and we'll kind of do the same thing. Send your questions to make sure that I get them. Please send your questions to the toll-free number 866-597-9901. You can also leave a voicemail. You can call that number and leave a voicemail of up to 2 minutes with your questions, and I can play. Oh. So I'm going to put the do not disturb sign since we're getting late. So it'll go to voicemail. If you call it right now, it'll go to voicemail. You can leave your voicemail, and I can play them here so we can get your questions there. And if all you want to do is text a question, text it to the 866-597-9901, and I will answer those on Friday night, kind of like we did tonight. And again, all I'm doing is expressing my opinions on these matters. I have no more better, is that good grammar? My information is no better than yours. I'm doing the answers I give you are all based on the work that we've done over the past 5.5 years. Do you think I could sell the treasure for $8 million? Randy, you would have to find a buyer. One of our options in terms of monetizing the treasure was to auction it at one of the major auction houses like Sotheby's in New York. And once you got some of those people who could afford to pay for it, they don't care what its value is because its value has, it's gone from. I've seen people estimate its value based on the what do they call it? The raw value of each of the items that they believe is in the chest, from $750,000 on a high end to $1.2 million on the other. Now, estimates have gone higher. As a matter of fact, Margie Goldstein has written 4 articles on this matter, and in each article, the value goes up. And the last article that she wrote last year sometime, or doing 2018 sometime, for Huffington Post, I think, valued it at $4 million. So she keeps raising the value. I think Fenn was the one that said if it ever got to an estimate of $10 million, he'd come go and get the treasure. He's past being able to do that now. But you could probably auction it off for something near that amount. But what you want is a bunch of bidders, whether they are, Arab oil sheiks or Russian oligarchs. You want them bidding for that treasure, and you want to leave that up to the one of the auction houses like Sotheby's. Let them do that because they have the audience for it. There are other ways to derive revenue from it without leaving it in your hands. You could lease it to museums. You could lease it to one of the things I noticed that they have up here at Santa Clara. The Santa Clara Casino is some Native American artifacts that date back to the 1300s, 12 and 1300s, and they use that as an attraction. So you could put it in a casino, do a deal with the casino where they kept it, not necessarily here in New Mexico, but and then just basically lease it to them and let them earn revenue. But again, you could maintain your anonymity. There's no reason for you to announce that you were the finder of the treasure. So, and as I said, we have not found the treasure, nor are we going to look for it. But that doesn't mean I can't stop my mind from thinking about it. So, and these questions were so good, I just couldn't help it. And they all popped up. It was like we were off the grid for a little while, and then all of a sudden, in the past week and a half, I just started getting boom, 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 these questions that got honestly progressively more interesting. So, I think we better start our sign out here, huh? So thank you very much for joining me tonight. I will be back on Friday night with the Forrest Fenn Friday Fandango at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And then Shelley and I will be back on Tuesday of next week with our next vlog. I don't think we've decided what it is. We're going to have to shoot it over the weekend, actually. So we'll see you then. Until then, have a wonderful New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And I hope that your 2019 was immensely more healthy and rewarding than your 2018, even if your 2018 was healthy and rewarding. Okay? Shelley and I love you all. You guys have a good evening.